Good afternoon. Full house here. Welcome to our first STEM talk of the semester. My name is Brian Kurth. I'm a math faculty member here. And we're going to have our first STEM talk out of 3 this semester. STEM, as you may know, stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And our speaker today is Mr. Ben Lenard from Argonne National Laboratory. He is an HPC Systems and Database Administrator. He has 2 master's degrees, and he is now working on his PhD in Information and Computer Science at DePaul University. He will speak for about 45 minutes about their Leadership Computing Facility, and there should be some time for questions and answers at the end. So without further ado, I welcome Mr. Ben Lenard.
So I'm from Argonne, and today we're going to talk about briefly HPC systems and their impact on science and technology. You might or might not know Argonne is about 10 minutes to the west of us right now, and I'm going to go over what we do there to try to inspire some of you to go into STEM. So my background, even though I don't have it on here, I attended Moraine from about 97 to 2000. I got my associates here about 18 years ago. Then I went on to DePaul, and then I finally went back for my master's and completed that in 2009. For a number of years I worked in the financial services industry, so likewise I got an MBA. Since my departure from the financial services industry, I decided to go back and pursue a PhD at DePaul University, just because you can never have enough education. So what is Argonne? Argonne is an area to the west of us that for several decades has been run by the University of Chicago for the DOE, where we strive to provide research for this country to address scientific needs for our nation. At Argonne, we have 4 user facilities. A user facility is an area where external users come to use our equipment to research various topics. We have the APS, which is the Advanced Photon Source, which some of you may have seen a giant ring on Argonne's pictures. That's the APS. We also have the Center for Nanoscale Materials and Technology, a linear accelerator for physics, and the Leadership Computing Facility, which is what I belong to. So what is the Argonne Leadership Facility? The Argonne Leadership Facility houses supercomputers to provide users the resources necessary to pursue the scientific challenges that they need. We have in-house experts to optimize and maximize their code so that they could scale on our systems that are much larger than your average desktop or supercomputer. We have a number of users within the community, various academic, industry, and other individuals that we work with to try to provide the resources for. In terms of in-house expertise, a lot of these people that come to us are either in the physics world or chemistry or even engineering. While they might be an expert in their domain, they need help to optimize and performance tune their code so that it runs on a supercomputer of such scale. It's just they are an expert in their domain, whereas we are experts in the computing domain, if that makes sense. So our supercomputers in this data is 10 to 100 times more powerful than typical systems out there. There is a website called the top500.org. We have computers in the top 10 or top 15. It gets updated every 6 months or so. But if you go to top500.org, you'll see Argonne and Oak Ridge and Livermore in the top tier as well as other countries as well. So in terms of the computers, we have 3 production supercomputers. Mira, which was installed in 2012 or so, made by IBM. It has about 786 terabytes of RAM. So your average desktop has maybe 4 or 8 or even 16 gigs of RAM. We have, how many thousands times that? And in terms of cores, it has about 3/4 of a million cores. And if you think about it, your iPhone or Android only has 2 cores, and this laptop, i7, has maybe 4 or 8 cores, whereas this has 3/4 of a million cores. Now, cooling is significantly smaller, but we use it for a visualization cluster. So a lot of times scientists or like chemists or physics will take the data and need to visualize it, like the blood flow through arteries or the wind dynamics of an airplane wing. We use cooling, which has NVIDIA GPUs to generate the graphics. Now the latest supercomputer, which is almost the same speed as Mira, is Theta, which has only 3,600 nodes and 231,000 cores, but it is a x86 system, which is very similar to your laptops. The only difference is the size in terms of processing power and memory is thousands of times bigger. So I'm not going to read this whole slide, but this shows our growth over the last 10 years and how we've grown in the number of hours requested and over time, and this part shows the various research we've been doing in terms of nanoscale stuff and other simulations. So what is a supercomputer used for? As you've seen so far, it has a lot of computing resources, but what's the need for it? The need is for modeling. The need is for simulations and whatnot. When I was getting my MBA, I got it from Northern Illinois University, and they work a lot with Caterpillar. One of the key things that Caterpillar does is build prototypes. Well, if you have to build 100 prototypes, there's a cost. There's a cost to build those prototypes. There's a cost for the people hours, the tooling, the labor. If you can simulate this in a computer, you drastically reduce your cost and drastically reduce your time to market. So other simulations that have been run on Mira is the jet exhaust noise out of a jet engine and how to make the noise less. Going back to my example earlier, yeah, you could create 100 different engines, but it's going to take you a long time. If you could prototype it and simulate it within a computer, your time to market is drastically less. On the flip side of things, there's a big thing of data science and data simulations, analyzing the data we already have, whether it's health data or trying to understand the blood flow through the human body. So, what problem do researchers solve? Like I've been saying, it's everything and everything around us. Even though I do IT, the whole point of ALCF and why I try to make it generalized is we have specialists, whether it's nuclear engineering, chemistry, physics, biology, that work with the domain experts to try to port their code to our system. At the end of the day, we try to, explain the universe and how life works, and ultimately make things better for everybody else. Another example is biological systems, whether it's modeling the synapses in the human brain or drug therapies. A lot of this you just can't build a human brain. So the next big thing is to simulate it. And I don't remember how many neurons there are in the human brain, but you need a system of this size to create the simulation and have it complete in a timely manner. This slide is an example of something that ran on our system that you could read for yourself, but it's a look at protein structures. And I'm sure Brian will make this available somehow to you guys. Another use of our system is trying to understand the universe and how the Big Bang theory happened and where all this dark matter is. Like I said earlier, is another simulation of large sky, of the race. So, for the last couple of years, there's been a big push for renewable energy. Some of the people on our system study wind turbines and how to make wind turbines more efficient, as it's a renewable energy. And these are just subsets of what we do. Later in the slides is a total number of different projects we run. Another example is forecasting. Right now, when you see a 10-day forecast, it's often wrong. It's often wrong a day ahead of time. So, the problem is you need a very large supercomputer to calculate the forecasts and the various terrain that interfere or cause the wind pattern to change with alter the forecast. On a different front, we help with engineering and R&D. This picture, I don't think it says, but it's a nozzle of a jet engine, I believe, of the exhaust coming out, but don't quote me on that. I'm just going to skip through. Here's another project that runs with the, lift off of a jet wing. You guys could read this on your own. So, how do researchers get access to such a powerful supercomputer? Well, like many parts of academia, it all has to do with grants. Researchers apply for various awards, and I can explain what this means so that they can run on the supercomputer. As you can see, most of our time is dedicated to something called Insights, which I will be going over later. The smallest is something called DD, which means Director of Discretionary, and lastly, ALCF. So, Director of Discretionary is a grant where the director at ALCF grants a resource allocation to a research party so that they can explore whatever research topic they apply for. A lot of it is something that doesn't fit into Insight or ALCF, but the director sees a potential. Like I said a minute ago, it's almost like a first step or a proof of concept. Usually this is a 3 to 6 month grant for time, which is renewable. Out of the total number of core hours we have available, only 10% goes through DD time. The two major categories are Insight and ALCC, which consume about 90% of the system time. Insight stands for Innovative and novel computation and theory. The awards are usually 1 to 3 years given out. They account for 60% of the time. A lot of this time is dedicated to academia and industry and our large research projects. Now the other category down here, ALCC, is only 30% of our time, and that time is dedicated to exploring DOE's energy mission, such as, the wind turbines I talked about a few minutes back, or improving the jet engine performance or the lift under the wings. It all ties back to energy and consuming less energy. Now, in addition to that, there are 2 more categories which have to do with future research, such as data science. If any of you have taken IT classes at Moraine, you might have heard the phrase big data or data science or something to that degree. And that is basically looking at all this data. For a number of years, we would go around collecting all this data, but no one really put it to use, such as in medicine and trying to correlate things better. The last category is ESP, which is early science, and that's basically used for getting code ready for new systems and new technologies. I often tell kids that, you might think that you get a degree and it just stops there, but no, technology keeps changing. Life keeps changing. So you need to be adaptive and relearn and retool for the future. And to that effect, that is what ESP provides. So how does all this benefit our nation? All of this contributes to science. It provides economic benefits, and it also provides education. A lot of these problems that run on these computers cannot run on a normal server. Or if it did, it would take 20 years to complete. And I mean 20 years non-stop. Whereas something of that size might only take 1 hour to complete on Mira. In terms of contribution to science, what we do is try to help people understand what the universe is, what and how to make it better. In this picture, you can see the TV screens to the left, and that is after a scientist ran something, they need to visualize the output. We have a lot of times where, for example, the blood flow in the body. You have the data, but you need to visualize what's going on so that you can make sense of it. In terms of economic benefits, like I said earlier with Caterpillar and the prototype, whether it's improving fuel economy or improving, time to market, there is a definite economic impact to this because such companies like GE or Caterpillar or Rolls-Royce don't have the type of resources ready for available to them to provide these experimentations. Not to mention they don't have the expertise in-house to take advantage of that. This picture, for example, is the inside of a Pratt and Whitney jet engine that we helped them create simulations to help them improve performance in the jet engine. In terms of outreach, we have a lot of internships and postdoctorate positions available where students come and learn new technology and learn HPC. So one thing I did want to talk about is whenever you do pick a career, pick a job, pick something you enjoy because you're going to end up doing it for 40 to 50 hours of your week. I've seen a lot of students come and go and they pick something and they don't like it and they end up going into it and they regret it. And I have seen other students pick something and they love it and it was the best thing that ever happened. Do you guys have any questions? I kind of flew through this. Sorry.
Any questions?
What made you interested in computer science and all that whole area?
Is it on?
Yeah, our question is, how did you get interested in computer science?
I've always been interested in computer science, and I guess so. That's a longer answer than I get the two parts of it. So I've always been into IT, but there's also the part of working here that makes you wonder why things work. Like if you go to a normal corporate job, you do your job and that's it. Whereas here, you actually try to help humanity. You try to understand why things work. What's the word? You fulfill a need for something. It's not just a paycheck, if that makes sense. Who's next?
Any other questions?
What is a typical workday for computer sciences?
The question was, what's a typical workday for a computer scientist?
There is no typical workday. I mean, it's, like any job. Very little professional jobs are day in, day out like a factory. professional jobs is more reacting to the needs of what's around you and making widgets on an assembly line.
Was there a question over here?
What are some like specific innovations that like came out of Argonne Lab?
In terms of ALCF or Argonne in general?
Just in general, I guess.
Well, you could go to Argonne site, but the last big one was the oil sponge. I think it was in the press a year ago for soaking up oil spills. I mean, in terms of Argonne and OCS, there is a list of resources where we've been cited and contributions we've made to various things. In terms of LCF, you got the jet engines, you got a brain simulation. If you go to the site, which I'm not sure. Anyway, if you go to the site, you can see a list of all the different projects that we're currently running on the system. I don't know if that helps you.
Any other questions?
You said you go into the realm of trying to understand a bit more about the universe.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Michio Kaku and string theory?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on computing multiverses? Do you think that's something within the realm of the supercomputers that you guys have?
I don't know if we've run anything for string theory. I know there's a lot of people that run high energy physics. We have hundreds and hundreds of projects. So someone might be running string theory modeling. I just don't know off the top of my head.
How many prototypes or simulations do you have to run until you find your ideal solution?
It depends. And if you want an MBA, the answer to everything is it depends. Anyway, it depends on the situation. There is no answer. There is no magic formula, And it depends on the problem, whether it's engineering or physics or chemistry. I mean, there's no silver bullet for that.
Any more questions?
You mentioned the areas of the three things that prioritize what goes into the system and what runs. So is the priority to run the systems 24 hours a day, nonstop, or is it just to make sure that every task has its chance to run out to its completion?
So there's two or three parts of this. So yes, Mira and Thea run 24/7, 365. We're only there maybe 7 to 7. But keep in mind the researchers and collaborators are all over the world. They're not just in Illinois, they're not in the United States, they're all over the world. In terms of running to the end or running how often, a lot of times projects will run for, let's say, 2 hours or 9 hours, and they checkpoint and they get a signal that says, hey, you got 5 more minutes, you better checkpoint because your time is up or coming due. Because otherwise you might have one project using the whole system for 2 weeks straight. So you kind of have to balance out the resources somehow so everybody gets a fair turn.
Any more questions?
Are there any internship opportunities at the computing facilities?
Yes, there's always internship opportunities. I think for the summer that is, and they start posting them around, I want to say February. So if you go back to the website, this website, there should be a careers or job link. I forgot what it said at the top right. But yeah, it'll be posted. Any other questions?
Let's give a big round of applause to Ben. And we'd like to invite you back next week for our next STEM talk. It'll be Thursday, 1 week from tomorrow at 12:30. We'll have a lecture about 3D printing.